my second eye and my third point is all around innovation. And I think innovation is really, really important at a time like this. And it's easy to say the word innovation, isn't it? Much more difficult to do it and to think about what you can do to actually innovate within your business when we're in a time of difficulty, when we're trading down and when certain things are not going well. And I do often have that phrase ringing around my head, don't keep doing the same things and expecting a different result. So if businesses are not trading well, carrying on doing the same stuff isn't necessarily going to get you out of the hole. In fact, it probably won't. So are you thinking about innovation in your business? Are you incentivising it? What sort of things could you be doing? I thought maybe I'd throw a few ideas on the table in terms of what I know has happened in my business in the past and what I'm hearing that are happening in other businesses. So first of all, let's talk about the good old suggestion scheme. We had a scheme in Asda which we called Tell Andy. Andy Bond is the CEO currently today, and the scheme is called that, where we actually got people from the shop floor to submit their ideas as to how they could make the business better. And just to give you an example of how trivial things can actually add up to lots of money, we had one lady who worked in one of our stores who was concerned about the fact that we sold flowers. Obviously, we sell a large amount of flowers as a retailer. They all get delivered into store in buckets, in water, which keeps them alive. And this lady was concerned about the fact that we used to throw the buckets away. They were waste. And she said, why don't we sell the buckets that come into the store with flowers in? Which sounds like a pretty trivial idea, really, doesn't it? But actually, when we netted that up across the chain, it saved the business £250,000. It's extraordinary, isn't it? It's a wow. Another lady suggested we should do something about recycling the coat hangers that all the clothing comes on. And that netted, I think, about £400,000. So don't think that the people who are at the cold face, who are thinking about your business, haven't got a contribution. It's not always coming from the board or from the leaders. Often these things feed up from the grassroots and can make a real and massive material difference to your business. I think about things like fuel in engines. And there's a whole crisis, isn't there, around what's going to happen to fossil fuels. And we're now seeing hybrids emerge onto the market that people are buying. We're now seeing hydrogen fuel cell cars emerging onto the market that are actually being sold at a sensible price. We're seeing methanol being talked about as a potential fuel to burn in cars. But as a consequence also, the whole industry is thinking about cars that can do many, many more miles to the gallon, whether they're petrol or whether they're diesel. So that whole pressure around what's going to happen to fossil fuels is driving innovation in a way that we haven't seen for a very, very long time, because that pressure is there. And I think sometimes the pressure of a recession can actually cause that burning platform that moves your business on in a way that perhaps it hasn't in the past. I was talking to someone about the building industry and how the actual building industry is always the first into recession and therefore consequently the first out. And builders are largely speaking not building anything, and it's literally fallen off a cliff. So what has the building industry done? Because they clearly need to do something. They've gone into repairs, because clearly if you're not building new, you will be repairing your old, or you might be extending old, or whatever it might be. It's not strictly innovation in the sense that the word might be defined in a very narrow sense, but it's a piece of innovation in terms of thinking about how you can utilise your workforce in a different way. The best one I heard was a Japanese company who had a factory out in Japan where 2/3 of the factory was actually lying empty because of the downturn, and they've started to grow lettuce in the factory, would you believe? I mean, that really is innovation, isn't it? I think there are all kinds of things that can happen if you think about opening your mind to what the possibilities might be and involving your people in opening their minds and taking on board their ideas.